Hello everyone. So this is a lecture on moving charge and magnetism. Rather, it's a quick revision on this chapter. So firstly, we have magnetic field. So you know that magnetic field is the space around a current carrying conductor or a magnet where you can experience a magnetic force. Okay. So the SI unit of magnetic field is Tesla. The CGS unit is Gauss. You denote a magnetic field by B vector. Okay, Tesla, the equivalent of Tesla is also Newton meter inverse ampere inverse, and the dimension is this mt minus 2 a minus 1. So from magnetic field definition we come to right hand thumb rule. Now right hand thumb rule, say if you align, we have like two variations of this rule. So you put your thumb in such a manner that, or you put your hand in such a manner such that the thumb is pointing towards the current carrying direction in the wire, straight wire. In such a case, the direction in which your fingers curl, that will show you the direction of the magnetic field. Okay, so this is behind the page, this is behind the page, this is outside the page. Alright, so I hope this is clear. You are pointing thumb towards the direction of current. In such a case, the direction in which your finger curls, they will show you the direction of magnetic field. Also, you can apply the same rule. Say you have a current carrying loop or a coil. In such a case, if the direction of your finger curling, if they align with the direction of the current, right? This is outside the page and these dotted lines are behind the page. So in such a case, the thumb will show the direction of the north pole, okay, and the other side will be the south pole. So this is also acting as a magnetic dipole. Now we come to Biot-Savart law. So Biot-Savart law is used to determine the magnetic field at a point from a current carrying wire. Okay, so here in the diagram we have a wire carrying current I. All right, so the magnetic field at the point P, which is at r distance from this wire or from the length element dl, and theta is the angle between this length element dl and the r vector and the distance of this point P from this length element dl. Okay, so theta is the angle between dl vector and r vector, that you say. Okay, so to find out the magnetic field at the point P due to this current carrying wire, or in accordance with Biot-Savart law, we have this as dB equals to mu naught ideal sine theta by 4 pi r square. This is in the we don't write dB here, this is in the scalar form. Okay, so in vector form, how do you write this? In vector form, you will write this as dB vector equal to mu naught I dl cross r vector divided by 4 pi r cube. So this is in the vector form. Okay, so what is the value of mu naught? Mu naught is 4 pi into 10 to the power minus 7 Tesla meter ampere inverse. So the direction of the magnetic field at the point P by using right hand thumb rule again. So if you align the direction of the thumb along the direction of the current, then the fingers curling will show you the direction of the magnetic field. So cross represents going inside the page, dot represents going outside the page. So if you have a point Q on the left of the wire in this manner, okay, so these field lines are coming through this way, so these are coming outside the page on the left of the wire. Okay, therefore you have a dot here, and on the right of the wire this is going inside the page, therefore you have a cross there. Okay, so the field lines are entering the page here. Okay, so this is your magnetic field relation in accordance with Biot-Savart law. The application, first application is due to a straight wire carrying current. Okay, so the magnetic field at a point P, all right, which is at a perpendicular distance A, or perpendicular, this length A is the perpendicular bisector of this wire. Okay, so which is at a perpendicular distance A from this wire XY. Okay, and this point P is making angle phi 1 and phi 2, phi 1 with X and phi 2 with the point Y. So the magnetic field at the point P will be given by B equal to mu naught I by 4 pi A sine phi 1 plus sine phi 2. Okay, So if the conductor is of infinite length, that means you can imagine that x is at infinity, okay, going. Then this point, this phi 1 angle will increase, this phi 2 angle will also increase. This will increase in such a manner that they will become very close to 90 degree. So infinite wire, in case of infinite wire or a wire carrying current which is of infinite length, then phi 1 is equal to phi 2 equal to pi by 2. So in such a case, the above relation, like sin 90 plus sin 90, sin pi by 2 plus sin pi by 2, right? You get a 2 here. So this relation will become mu naught twice I by 4 pi a. So B is equal to mu naught twice I by 4 pi a. Okay. So this mu naught by 4 pi, the value is 10 to the power minus 7 Tesla meter inverse. What was the unit? Tesla meter ampere inverse. Okay. Also you have another unit for this, which is Newton per ampere square. This is also an equivalent of that. Now if the conductor is of finite length, okay, so for a conductor of finite length, what will happen? If the conductor is of finite length, then phi 1 equal to phi 2 will be equal to phi. Okay, so you can see here this wire is of finite length L, and again this is A is the perpendicular bisector, of course. Then these two angles are equal. In such a situation, you get B is equal to mu naught I by 4 pi A 2 sine phi. Okay, so I'll be writing down there's a small derivation here, I'm avoiding that. So the actual relation is mu naught by 4 pi 2 IL divided by A square root of 4A square plus L square, or capital L square, yes, L square. So this is the relation for finite length. Okay, so in all these relations, one thing if you notice, B is inversely proportional to A. Here also B is inversely proportional to A. Okay, so here also B is inversely proportional to A. So the B versus A curve will be like this, exponentially falling curve. B is inversely proportional to A, therefore as A increases, B will fall exponentially. So we come to the next relation, that is magnetic field on the axis of a circular loop. This is also derived by using Biot-Savart law. The relation, final relation for this is B is equal to mu naught by 4 pi 2 NIA divided by R square plus X square to the power 3 by 2. So you see, this R square plus X square to the power 3 by 2, like R square plus X square to the power half is A. This is this hypotenuse. Okay, X is the perpendicular distance of the point P where you are finding out the magnetic field. R is the radius of the loop. Okay, the loop is placed perpendicular to the plane of the page. Okay, so you are finding out magnetic field at the point P. So this is the relation for the magnetic field at the point P. All right. So here N is the number of turns. Okay, if the coil has one turn, then N value will be 1. I is the current, A is the area, pi r square, area of the coil. Okay, and R and X we already talked about. Now we have two special situations here. One situation will be if X is very much large, much larger in comparison to R. That will be one situation. That means point P will be very far away. Okay, and the second situation is if X is 0. If X is 0, then point P will be at the center of the loop. So situation number 1, if X is much greater than R, then the relation for B, Biot-Savart law in this case will be, Biot-Savart law will modify to, or after derivation you will get mu naught by 4 pi 2 NIA divided by X cube. Okay, and if X is 0, then magnetic field at the center of the loop, it will become, in that case B will become mu naught 2 NIA divided by 4 pi R cube. Now by placing the value of A, you will get mu naught Ni divided by twice R. So for if the number of turn is 1, then B relation will become mu naught I by twice R. Okay, for 1 turns in the coil. Now in general, you see the above relation can be written as, okay, this above relation can be written as B is equal to mu naught I by 4 pi R into theta. Okay, so well, let's check one thing here. See, this relation can be obtained from this relation. Now theta in case of a complete 1 turn loop will be 2 pi, isn't it? See, if you just check that, mu naught I by 4 pi R into 2 pi. So what is it giving you? Pi cancels, then you are getting mu naught I by 2R, which is this relation. Okay, which is this relation. So this is the general relation, okay, for magnetic field at the center of a loop or arc also. It will apply in case of arc also. Let's see here in this situation, this is the arc for a certain angle theta, and say if this angle is 90 degree, say theta is 90 degree, then your B becomes mu naught I by 4 pi R into pi, okay, into pi by 2. Into pi by 2. Okay, so I'm just showing you how to do that. Again, in this case, if your theta is pi, then mu naught I by 4 pi R into pi. So as in the case, you can just put the value and use this relation. So we have Ampere circuited law next. So you can see in the diagram, you have a straight wire carrying current I. Okay, so Ampere circuited law says that the total magnetic field around this around any closed path, okay, total magnetic field around any closed path is equal to mu naught times the current enclosed by the path. So in accordance with Biot-Savart law, your relation for total magnetic field around this path will become integral or closed integral P dot dl is equal to mu naught I. So we have two applications for Ampere circuited law. One is the solenoid, the other is the toroid. So solenoid, what is a solenoid? A solenoid is a wire of this pattern. Yes. Now this is carrying a current I. So the solenoid, when a solenoid carries a current I, it behaves as a magnet. All right. So in such a manner that the north pole is along this side and south pole is along this side. Okay. So you see the direction of the currents are being represented by the direction of the fingers curling. In such a case, the thumb is pointing along this way. Okay, so north pole is along this way, south pole is along this way. However, we are talking about the relation for magnetic field, which is B equal to mu naught Ni. Okay, where N is the number of turns per unit length of the solenoid. A special case, finite length solenoid. In case of a finite length solenoid, like this magnetic field is also at the center of the solenoid. Okay, so here at the point P, this is the center of the solenoid. Now here these dots are representing that the current is coming out from this through the wire and it is entering through this process shown, right? So in such a case, again, this will behave as north and this will behave as south. That means the magnetic field direction is from south to north, this way. Okay, now south to north inside the solenoid, outside the solenoid it is north to south. Okay, so if we consider this angle as alpha with the vertical, if this end is making angle alpha and this end is making angle beta, then the relation for magnetic field at the point P will be given by mu naught Ni divided by 2 sin alpha plus sin beta. Okay, that is case number 1. Number 2 is infinite length solenoid. So infinite length solenoid means that these 2 points will go very far away and these alpha and beta angles will keep on increasing. in such a manner that they go very close to infinity. Okay, sorry, they become very close to 90 degree, pi by 2. So in such a case, sin 90 plus sin 90, that will give 2, and 2 will cancel, and B will become mu naught Ni. Okay, so this is magnetic field inside the solenoid of infinite length. Now near one end of the solenoid, say we consider this end. Okay, so if you see this diagram, if this point comes over here, this end, then this alpha angle will become 0, and beta angle will become 90 degree. Okay, so in such a case, alpha is 0 and beta is pi by 2, and your B at the end of the solenoid, at one end of the solenoid, becomes mu naught Ni divided by 2, and sin 0 plus sin 90, right? So that will give you like sin 0 will vanish and sin 90 will become 1, and therefore the final relation will be B and equal to mu naught Ni divided by 2. So from here you can understand one thing, that B and magnetic field at the end of the solenoid is half of magnetic field inside. Okay, whatever value was there inside. Next we have toroid. So toroid is a closed solenoid. Okay, solenoid with no ends. When you join the ends of the solenoid, it becomes a toroid. So here the current is entering through this, and it is moving along this direction. That means it is coming out from here. Here you will place dots. Okay, here as we are putting dots here, and since it is entering this way, so here we are putting cross. So in such a case, if you apply this right hand rule here, okay, so this finger's curling is aligned along the direction of the current. You see the current is entering this way, then the thumb is showing you the direction of the magnetic field B. Say this current element is dl. Okay, now magnetic field due to toroid is mu naught Ni. Again it is mu naught Ni. So what is this small n? This is number of turns per unit length. But what is the length of a toroid? That is the perimeter actually. So since the toroid is of radius r, so the length will be 2 pi r. Okay, so total number of length is n divided by 2 pi r. So this is your relation. So I close this lecture here. We'll continue the remaining topics in the next